yes, legends. How's everybody doing? Hope you're doing absolutely fantastic. Let's analyze the situation here all together for the price of Bitcoin. Let's go. How's everyone doing? Hope you're doing absolutely great. We have seen some volatility throughout the weekend. Saturday continued dumping. Today, it looks like that we had a little bounce, but we are looking to roll over again. We'll be analyzing the situation here for the price of Bitcoin altogether, okay? Make sure to destroy the like button if you do enjoy the content, guys. Smash it up. I'm going to go quickly through the comment section, smash it up right away, and we'll be taking a look at Bitcoin on the higher time frame. What scenarios do we have here on the higher time frame? Do we get massive breakdown? And I can see already some people in the comment section calling for the low 40k zone, okay? As low as that. I have to say, I actually bought a little bit of spot Bitcoin this morning, okay? Bought a little bit, even though I think we are going to go to much lower prices in the next coming months. You might think, well, why aren't you waiting? Because it's part of my DCAing strategy. This Bitcoin is for the very, very long term, okay? So I'm happy to buy Bitcoin at 70, below $80,000, 70, 60, $50,000. You know, I think it's just going to be a great opportunity in the next coming months. And DCAing really does make sense at this point because we are down from all-time high. Almost 40%, literally 40% right now. So it is a very, very good discount that we are getting. I do think that it could go down to 50%, even 60% in the next coming months. But it's all about DCAing, and this is for the long term, no short-term gains for spot buying. Let's go and say hello to the beautiful community. We'll be focusing on the 4-hourly time frame, then on the 15-minute time frame. Very aggressive move throughout Saturday. I didn't do a live stream. I got family around, so spent no time on the charts. But today we are getting some stuff ready, okay? So bear with me here. I know Devil went live yesterday. A lot of people going live, obviously, after this dump that we had on Saturday, just yesterday. Significant move down, breaking major levels, big volume. Let's analyze the situation. Do I think that we are going to go much lower at this point? I think we are likely going to test the lows, but I think that we're not going to go to much lower prices from here and looking for a bounce at some stage, okay? Anybody that is short from higher, from 97k, even from the 90k region, it makes sense to start collecting some profits. I mean, you do you. I did take some profits from the swing short position that I added as well. This ended up in a relatively big position. I'm actually happy in this position. I've taken 50% of profits of this short position that I wanted to make it really big. But in the end, it was big enough. Managed to just add to the position when we were trading at the 90k levels just at the beginning of the week. So I'm happy. I'm happy with this position. Now, it is looking interesting for longs because I am super interested in longs. However, we want to be a little bit cautious eventually and talk about a few of the scenarios that are going to be mentioned on this live stream. We'll be talking about the daily time frame, what kind of scenarios we're looking at, the 4-hourly time frame, and most importantly on the lower time frame, 30-minute, 15-minute time frame, to focus on this movement down that we've had in the last few weeks. Looking at the waves, looking at the confluence, looking at the volume, looking at the liquidity, taking everything into consideration and to see what's the highest probability movement that we do have for this week, guys. Smash up the like button. Let's say hello to the beautiful community. Let me know if you can hear me and you can see me right away here. And let's just say hello. Happy Sunday. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. 35k. Some people were calling for 48k, I did see here as well. 35k Bitcoin. Man, it is bearish, right? It is. We are feeling the bearishness here, legends. We are definitely feeling the bearishness. Much love to everybody. Much love to you. Hello, legends. Much love. Smelling like a short squeeze to 95 in the near future. 95k. The thing is, you know, we are definitely having insane amount of liquidity, especially above 90k, and there's not that much liquidity below us, right? Liquidity is drying up, okay? People are getting very bearish, and that obviously is a good sign for a potential bottom formation soon. But we need to try and understand, looking at the waves, the volume, when's that bottom going to be forming, right? What signs do we need? And that hopefully today is going to be solved in today's live stream. This is why we're live. Sorry about not going live yesterday. I wish I could, but I was down in the marina having dinner with family and chilling out. Come on, we at least need one day without the charts. Come on, legends. And so yeah, yesterday I was out and about when we got that dump. Would have been great to do that live stream, but come on. Anyway, much love, Big Don. Much love to you, my man. Thanks for joining. We've got CBM here. Smash the like, legends. He is here, the absolute legend himself, who is in an epic short from 97k. He's bragging about his profits. He's made more profits on this dump than I have to be honest. But anyway, saw CBM today, by the way. Had breakfast with him. Great guy. Go and check out his channel, guys. He's an awesome technical analyst. Talks about news, macroeconomics, a bit of everything, and he's a great trader as well. Go and check him out, guys. CBM, here he is in the comment section. Nice profits. You know what? It could have been better. It could have been better. Those profits could have been better. It was something that we were discussing throughout the last 1 to 2 weeks, and I'm very conservative as a trader, and this can be good, but it can be bad. When you understand that we are going to go to lower prices, we were understanding that, guys, we got this 3-wave structure. This looks impulsive, focusing very much in getting above 91k, right? We talked about getting into some swing shorts already in this region if you wanted to, with a stop loss, give or take a bit of room, and maybe add to the position if we got that SFP of 91. I wasn't too aggressive on this, even though I understood that taking out $80,000 in the next coming days or a week or so, right, when we were trading in this zone, we were just analyzing the different type of corrections that could have developed here, either a flat, either a triangle, either a running flat, but looking for that 3rd wave breakdown to take out the lows here, especially when we had the magic of the 2022 bear market, which we are actually moving almost the same way, right? You got it in front of your eyes. This has happened already. It's happened before, right? The same goddamn price action to the upside. The timing was perfect for this to come to its end stages and coming to look for that movement down, right? To take out $80,000. So, you know what? I'm actually happy. I'm actually happy because, a trade is a trade. And I did manage to compound because this was a small trade from 97k zone. And as we did take out, the overall strategy from here was understanding as soon as we take out from this momentum to the upside. I'm not sure if you guys were here at the beginning of the week. Some people might have remembered taking out 88.7k was absolutely crucial to understand that this no longer is going to be very, very bullish. Okay, either a diagonal or either a WXY double zigzag. Okay, and if it's a diagonal, you've got the potential of this being a running flat or a triangle or whatever. We are looking for that breakdown later on throughout the week, and it came relatively fast, right? It just took a few days more to get that momentum. That was the moment that I decided I'm going to add to this short position, obviously for entry to be around about the 90k, top 90k region here, to add safely eventually, right? And finally, this did pay off. I'm actually happy. Okay, it hasn't been the biggest trade, but overall, it was known that we were going to get this movement down to below $80,000, right, on the higher time frame. Today we're going to discuss mainly this movement, guys. Mainly this movement. This is the most important movement that we need to understand right now, to understand what's going to happen next week. What could happen, right? Not what's going to happen, but what could happen. And I like it. I like the reversal signs very, very much. for the higher time frame, okay, this could still chop around, claim the low again, but it's, I'm not looking for any major solid breakdowns as of yet, based on the information that we have here. And this is going to be explained in today's live stream. So make sure to stay tuned, guys. Smash up the like button. It is Sunday. 73K. RIP BTC. Yes, RIP BTC indeed. Have your strategies. Have everything. You need to have a plan, guys. First of all, I need to give this quick disclaimer, guys. This content is for educational purposes only and not financial advice. The information provided is not guaranteed to be accurate or complete. Always conduct your own research before making any financial decision. Right, 73K, enjoying the content, mate. Thank you very much, Steve Potter. Much love to you, brother. Very much appreciate that nice comment, okay? You all remembered I call it 70K. Yeah, we knew on the higher time frame that it was the highest probability. Sunday stream, yes, sir. It was the highest probability, okay, of coming down to sweep up. Sweep up to literally get below $80,000. Ever since we were in this range, right, throughout the week, even last week, it was a pretty obvious game. We even had the 2022 price action to tell us, we're likely going down very soon, which is what is happening. So a lot of evidence that we had that this was just a matter of time, guys. There's nothing bullish about this momentum that we had throughout November till January. You can't fit anything bullish here. Okay, so it was a matter of time that we broke down below $80,000. Now we're here, we got it. It's dump, it's bearish, we're very, very bearish. Is it time to be super bearish down here? I've been taking profits from the short and I'm interested in longs. This is the moment that you want to start looking for longs, I can tell you that. But it's still very aggressive moves. We only got aggressive move yesterday, Sunday, and we need to analyze this local price action, okay? So we go straight into the point right now after saying hello, good morning, much love to you, Shawanti. Andy, what's the chart site where you show the order flow candles? That is ExoChart. ExoChart is the one. You also have Atus. There's many different ones. CoinGlass also has it. I think they've implemented it. But this is ExoChart, the one that I look at the order flow, okay? The footprint, basically. And CVD is aggr.trade, which is for free. Okay, also very, 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 very good here for the CVD. You can use templates to put all the different exchanges. It works absolutely great. Okay, CBM around. Much love to everybody. Big dead cat bounce is coming soon. Shanjay, yeah, I do believe so. Lower low coming up. Lower low locally does look like it is the thing that is going to happen. See you all at 35K. Enjoy the dive. Sir Andy, brunch on me when it hits 35K. Thanks, my man. I mean, if you are in shorts, the move down is still pretty damn aggressive. But I do believe that a significant short squeeze has to happen. Okay, it's likely going to happen, but that doesn't change anything. There is nothing, unfortunately, bullish on the higher time frame to start a rally from this point to take out all-time high. There's literally nothing, and you always need to have something, right, as the bullish case scenario. But most of the high probability scenarios point out that even though that you do get a bounce here, you're likely looking for lower lows later on in the next coming months, or maybe a big massive fat range, okay, that could develop, but nothing to go to all-time high in the next coming months. Because in a nutshell, even though this is the scenario that we don't like very much, just because your wave 4 is extremely long, this is an impulsive move to the downside. There is a scenario that you count this as an ABC flat and we head up to all-time high, but we need a lot of information. I mean, I'm not counting on this, guys, until we see a bullish move to the upside, local bullish market structure with corrective staircases to the downside, right? Where we can get into some longs in the next coming weeks. You know, we still need a lot of information here to really believe that there is going to be a bullish reversal. But yeah, there is the higher time frame scenario that is, you know, if you have a 5-wave move to the downside, an ABC flat here is possible, right? Let's just leave it that way. Is it possible, right? We bottom out very, very soon. You might take out the lows at 74K here and then start reversing very, very strongly, right, throughout the next coming months. We ain't going to cover that very, very much, but just to let you know on the higher time frame that an ABC flat here is an option. It is an option for the bulls, okay? We like talking about bullish scenarios when it's so bearish, right? But let's stay real. It's not looking great, and it does favor some more downside, okay? But we need to cover it, right? An ABC flat here. There is ways of counting it if this is a 5-wave move to the downside. Bearish case scenario naturally would be getting a corrective bounce here, right? Lots of overlap, right? Very, very corrective, nothing bullish, and then just continuing to the downside in the next coming months. The other scenario here is looking at this as a 3-wave structure. Okay, another 3-wave move to the upside. That could be your wave W, your wave X. You got a zigzag down, zigzag up, and now you're just in the beginning stages, potentially of your A wave, right? Not having finished even an impulse here, because what you want to see later is a correction and then another impulsive move to the downside in a 5-wave structure for that double zigzag ABC, right, to finish your Y wave in the next coming months, and it could be pretty brutal, right? Nothing points out for a major reversal as of yet. There is a local bullish case scenario, but I would want to see at least locally one more low. Locally, I would want to see one more low, and I need to talk about the possibilities here of that bounce. That is looking at this price action, okay, as a potential 3-wave A wave, all right, to the upside, sharp 3-wave B wave down here, and then your C wave that could be a running flat or a regular flat that takes out 98K in the next couple of months, right? Give or take, might be a few weeks. Little bit of wishful thinking. It is very aggressive. We need a bottom out. We need a little range. We need bullish market structure. You know, by no means I'm saying that this is going to happen, guys. And there's no easy catch the bottom, right? Catch the low here, despite hitting insane amount of support. You know, we are hitting some, you know, significant support levels all the way down in this zone. You know, there is a weekly level as well that was broken, but you know, that was yesterday. Basically, you got a weekly naked point of control. There is a daily level that got the reaction yesterday with that dump. We just hit a daily level here, exactly at 76.1K that got the reaction bounce. You know, there is some support, but at this stage, I would prefer to take out these lows, all right, which is sitting at 74.5K would be nice. But, you know, there is support here. There is a lot of support, weekly naked point of control, daily level, and it's actually getting a bit of a reaction. Some local double bottoms here could be quite interesting, and that will be explained on the lower time frame eventually. That local move to the downside is the most important at this stage right now. Let's talk about the ABC flats, right? We got the WXY move to the upside, that 3-wave structure, right? That is moving up here. Very, very nice indeed. 3-waver, no doubt about it. Bear flag, whatever you want. A bearish move up, right? Staircase to the upside. That means we go down. But it is a 3-wave move to the upside. If you have a 3-wave move up, and for the moment, you have a 3-wave down. Okay, for the moment, we've got a 3-wave on the formation. If we wanted an impulse in this zone, we got increasing volume naturally with yesterday's drop. We got a significant breakdown yesterday with increasing volume. So naturally, I want I want to label still this formation as a wave 3. I just want to label it as, if volume breaks down and increases, you're still looking at wave 3 here, potentially, if not a wave C. When you take a look at the Fibonacci extension, from this movement that we have to the downside, right, from 98K, the consolidation that, and there's no doubt that this is a separate wave, right? Either your B wave or your second wave. Breakdown with increasing volume, especially yesterday. What is this? Is this a C wave or is it a third wave? We are hitting C wave targets at the moment, which is the 1236, 1382 zone. It's a C wave target. Naturally, a C wave is slightly longer most of the time. Not always, most of the times it likes to be a little bit longer than your A wave. And it has a chance. It has a chance. Once you start hitting the 1.618, it's preferred to label as a third wave, even though you can label it as a third wave right now because it is longer than this movement down that we had 2 weeks ago. Okay, but the thing is, if it ends up being a 3-wave structure, then you have the possibility of a flat here. 3-wave move up, 3-wave down. And the interesting thing about this is also when you get the larger A wave here from the low of November of 2025 to the highs here, you are basically at B wave target of a flat, which is 1236 to the 1382 is the most common area for a B wave of a flat. And the reaction is happening at the 1236 from the dump yesterday, hitting 76K. That's the 1236. So it is reacting. There's a lot of levels here. We got weekly naked point of control. There is a daily that was hit also yesterday. There's support here, and we can see that weekend reaction eventually. Bit of volatility yesterday, which was a little bit larger than I expected, for a Saturday. I was out having dinner yesterday, and I checked the charts, and I'm like, I want to do a live stream, but it's not happening. I'm over half an hour away from home, and I'm having a good time. We try and be here Monday to Friday to literally analyze everything. And it wasn't happening, guys. I did think about it. I thought, shall I rush home to do a live stream and just go through the volatility? I'm like, yeah, no, it's not happening. Anyway, let's discuss here these scenarios. So this is possible. It is a possibility. What would need to happen here for this to come to fruition in the next coming weeks? I mean, I'm going to go through the lower time frame because it is quite interesting on the 30-minute time frame, this movement to the downside, where the biggest amount of volume happened yesterday, naturally, with that big aggressive move down. Big dump yesterday of over $5,000 with increasing volume. Now, you obviously want to try and label the biggest move with high volume as a potential wave 3. So, naturally, with a weekend bounce, you would want to see those lows being tested. I have to say, on the higher time frame, I actually like this to be a swing failure pattern level. I do like this to be a higher time frame. There could be a little bit of noise here, but I do see this as being a significant swing long zone, okay, to get a bounce above 80,000 and even higher, okay, even higher eventually. I do like it. It's just a major higher time frame pivot to stop out some swing longs and any longs that have been entering here throughout this range, right, that did believe that we were going to get a resume the bull market for some reason, which we were not believing that was going to happen. So I do like this. Sweeping up these higher lows on the higher time frame is for me a good swing long attempt when we do consider the ABC flat. Okay, this is a very, very good level in my opinion on the higher time frame, right? You need to enter with small amounts, stop loss, give or take several $1,000s below you. It's not going to be a very easy execution when we falling down very aggressively here, right? You need to manage your risk if you're trying to catch falling knives here with a high volume. So this scenario, we're hitting a bunch of major levels. We like this pivot as an SFP. That is the higher low. Okay, higher low at 74.5, higher low from April. Yeah, this level, I think, is a relatively good level here. April, higher low. Major higher time frame pivot. Now, let's go through, you know, what we would need to see here to be confident in something quite bullish and to get a larger bounce to the upside. We would have to see some big major impulsive move to the upside here, legends, because if we wanted to see, you know, a significant rally, we know that the third wave is the one that you want to get in, right? Regardless if it's a C wave. We were discussing this throughout last week, beginning of the week as well. Like, guys, you know, we were really looking at this being an A, B, C, or a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? We just break down in the next 1 to 2 weeks. And it happened in a matter of days, right? This move down has happened quite fast, right? Let's say 3-4 days, right? When we started dropping here, this was on Thursday already. So yeah, it's been 3 days, relatively quick move to the downside. But wave 3s, wave Cs, they are the most ferocious. They are the most aggressive. So naturally, if we were to form, you know, this is going to be an easy detection. Sometimes I know that I'm conservative with the bounces, right? It would be awesome to get a bounce to the 50%, right? Golden pocket, back test, right? The value area high from this entire range. Sometimes we don't get it. We didn't get it here at the beginning of the week. It was a sideways, running flat fits better here. We ended up breaking down, but we're just very much aware of which correction was going to happen here before we got this move to the downside to test below $80,000. So if we're going to be confident in a bounce here, and if the bounce is going to be for a C wave, for either a regular flat, right, or a running flat that gets above $90,000 potentially, and then, you know, we roll over. That's very much a possibility. And that's looking at a larger WXY for the bear market, right? Which would be all of this movement down for your wave W, running flat in wave X, and then just roll over throughout the beginning of the summer, right? It's April, May. You know, we know May, that is usually, you know, sell in May and run away, they say, right? And in the previous bear market, you know, May was also a bad month. 2021 in May was a bad month also. And, you know, this is something that could happen, right? Why not get a short squeeze, okay, that has the potential of taking out $98,000? And I know, guys, I know, talking about $98,000 at this point when it's so damn bearish and volume increasing sounds absolutely nuts. But we need to be ready for this, and we can detect this. We can detect it. Right now, it's not very much. You can speculate on it, right? You can speculate on it. I would say the invalidation for this is hitting the 1.618 extension from your A wave, which is, you know, it's not that far away. It's at 70K. It's $7,000 away. 5,000, 6,000 from the low, right? Basically. It's $6,000 away from the invalidation of the ABC flat. You know, if you want to speculate on a B wave flat here, you know, you need to manage risk like crazy, right? I mean, the problem here by short should have been taken last week and 2 weeks ago. you either short the Pico top here. We were very much aware of this rolling over at some stage, taking out the high again or not. And then the 1 and 2, or the A and B, start looking for shorts. We're likely going to come down below 80k. That's the main target. Looking for swing shorts down here, I'm sorry, you know, regardless if we say that we're going to hit 60k or 50k, it's not a zone that I'm looking for swing short positions, right? Swing short positions, you should be taking some profits right here. You should have been shorting in the last 2 to 1 weeks ago, right? And already taken significant profits from the shorts. This zone is starting to look for swing longs. I'm sorry, regardless, but we need to be safe, right? Looking for them. If we get this movement, there is nothing better. If this ends up being an ABC flat, your C wave is going to get up in a 5-wave structure. Okay, it's this movement that we do need. We need some move to the upside in the next coming days that is going to bring us confidence, okay, that we are going to get that bounce. Till this does not happen, we cannot be confident in this ABC flat. It's just a bunch of speculation. It's a bunch of speculation. You can speculate on it. If you're happy to put your stop loss, I would consider the 1.618 extension already, you know, a stop loss. But, you know, if you're entering along here, this is the thing. Why not enter with 1% here as a stop loss? It's a 1-to-1 ratio. If you're looking for a running flat, 1.5. It could be a 2.5 to 1. If we end up recovering here in a regular ABC flat. This is all, you know, depending if you're looking for this swing trade or not. Once you do get that rally, you know, if you start moving down here and you just continue rolling down, you need to take that 1% loss. You just need to realize, holy crap, this is incredibly bearish. This is a 1, 2, 3 wave. It's just continuing down, right? There's no 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Third wave is still getting developed. It's risky, right? When you're trying to catch, you know, a reversal speculation, in this case, an ABC flat, looking for the C wave, you're playing with fire. If you're playing with fire, you need to manage risk, right? If I play with fire, I like to go in small. You know, I got in small with this pump, then added to the position once I could confirm that this is likely coming to the end stages of a correction. Since we lost that 88.7, you know, I was very vocal about it. You know, either we're forming a triangle right now, or we're either forming a sideways WXY or the running flat that at the end it's the pattern that we formed here in a contracting diagonal for your C wave. Since we lost 88.7, that's where I'm adding to this position. Then I'm like, yeah, I'm adding to this because we're just likely going to roll over. And if I get stopped out, you know, I would be, you know, basically looking for a WXY, you know, something different. I was very much sure that this is likely going to be corrective and, you know, looking for that breakdown here in the wave C or a third wave, right? We got it already, guys. We moved down. We are hitting the 1.236, 1.382 extension already of this wave that we had 2 weeks ago. You know, the move has happened, right? If you are really screaming here from the top of your lungs that, you know, people are calling out 35k, 48k, right? There's going to be some kind of a bounce happening naturally here. I would not expect pure capitulation to start off from tomorrow, right? And drop another $15,000, right? So what I want to, explain about this risky long position, because it is risky. There's no doubt. We're gonna go through the bearish scenarios now, but I like to cover the potential local bullish case for the next coming weeks. It is there, but you don't want to F around, right? You don't want to F around with this because it's still very, very bearish, high volume at the low still, and, you know, the lows could be claimed, you know, here at least one more time. Once you start ranging a little bit, that's the moment that this looks sexy. This looks very, very sexy. If you start bottoming out here, you need to a couple of days here at least to find a little bit of a bottom formation, which we don't have naturally, just having the dump yesterday. So hear me out. This idea is the same as, sorry, and stop loss should be here, okay, at the 1.618. You know, a B wave to hit the 1.618 is like, you know, I would say it's an invalidation. B waves don't get as low as the 1.618 extension. So the good thing about this is we need to identify the impulse, just like we identify that this is likely impulsive, guys, right? When we have the 3-wave move to the upside, we didn't have any major impulsive moves, you know, ever since we corrected here. This movement down did not look impulsive. This movement down did not look impulsive. This one started to look impulsive, and we had a valid count here for a 3-wave structure, WXY, that we've been covering throughout December, right, of 2025. When you have this impulse and you realize that this is likely corrective, you're going to form a triangle, a flat, or whatever. You know, you're just looking for corrections. You know, it's time to start laddering in to the swing short, because we know that 3rd wave or C wave is going to come to take out 80k, right, which it did in the last few days. So for this long position, if we are going to be forming a flat, it's not going to happen like this overnight. It's going to happen like this. It's going to have some wave formations, and it is going to be our mission in the next coming days to identify that, right? This is the 4-hourly time frame, so this is going to take a few days to develop just that first wave up. So there's going to be time in this, in detecting this, okay? Just there was time here. There was 1 week to understand, damn, we rejected from 98k with a pretty strong impulsive move to the downside. We are only looking for corrections in this zone to finally get that movement down. So the same scenario here, looking for the bullish reversal, is going to happen, right, with the potential of hitting, you know, plus 98k. It is wishful thinking, I know. Chart looks like crap. It's very, very bearish. I'm going to cover the bearish scenarios, which are actually even more interesting. But, you know, this was the first one that I decided to cover, right? So with that said, you know, if you're risking 0.5 or 1% here with stop loss at 70k, based on an invalidation for your B wave, I would consider an invalidation. It's not really an invalidation, but it's just very, very rare to see a B wave hit the 1.618 extension in a flat. So, you know, you can consider it an invalidation already. We need to detect that impulsive move. We need to detect that strong movement here in a pretty nice impulsive move and a very, very choppy corrective structure to be confident, you know, this might play out. We might get the ABC. We may be forming the first wave up, and then we know the deal. Those 3rd waves are ferocious, and I think most of the people are not expecting a pump naturally to happen anytime soon, right? And you need to go a little bit against the sentiment as well, all right? We were talking about high probability taking out this low. It's happened already. The bearish move happened, right? Of course, naturally, we can go to much lower prices, and that's the bearish scenario that we're going to cover. But this is very, very interesting, and it will be very easy to detect, okay? I'm not in a long position yet, but I'm definitely looking for one as a swing, a bit more as a swing here, to give the chance for this A wave, B wave, C wave, right? That could be forming in the next coming weeks. C waves in a flat are usually fast and ferocious, so but we need the first leg up, and we will find out in the next coming days if that is going to be the case. I might consider already entering if we test the lows and we form a local double bottom, or maybe if we swing failure pattern. If we do get down to 74k I would already consider, getting into a long position here. Double bottom and giving a little bit of room for stop loss for this speculative bounce, right? Because that liquidity that we're forming up here above 90K is absolutely insane. I don't think we're going to go down to 60K, 50K in the coming weeks for all of these shorters to profit, right? Such as myself as well. I've taken 50% of profit of the short. I'm starting to scale out. I'm getting out. I'm going to leave some open naturally, but I'm taking significant profit, especially with that dump of yesterday, okay, that we had on Saturday. Guys, quick reminder, if you are interested in trading, you got many different platforms. I like Bluffing, BTCC. They are great. Bluffing has that great deal of VIP1 as soon as you sign up. Decreases your fees drastically on the sign up, and you get also the deposit bonus and the trading bonuses as well. The more you trade, the more airdrops you're going to get, up to $9,400, guys. Check out the links down below. You got Bluffing, okay, absolutely awesome platform. You can trade gold also on Bluffing using US dollar tether, and you have decentralized option, which is Velto. They have very low fees. You got a little tutorial as soon as you click on the link. BTCC with insane bonus as well. Check out the links, guys, that you have down below in the description. Let's continue with this scenario because it is a little bit of wishful thinking, I have to say. It is wishful thinking, but we are in the zone, okay, of the B wave, all the way down to $72,000 even. It still would be acceptable. It's dangerous. We're still moving down with increasing volume. Holy whack-a-mole. This is, I don't want to long here. Come on, man. It's bearish. Bear market. Bear markets are for shorting. We are short already, but I think there's a potential for this to happen. And the ultimate confirmation would be that impulse that would have to develop in the next coming days once you test the lows and you create a little bit of a bottom formation in this region, which we're going to cover on the lower time frames right away, okay? Bear with me here. We are going to cover this movement, okay? We're really going to go step by step with this movement down to understand, what stage could we be in when we consider Elliott wave theory and also taking into consideration the confluence levels. But I want to continue with this scenario eventually, right? The ultimate bullish bounce, which is very wishful thinking. I know, legends. I'll go through the comment section. You might think this guy is out of his mind. Come on, guys. We've been bearish on the higher time frame. We've taken out $80,000 already, getting to the mid 70K region. And, it's been bearish already. We've been bearish. It's time to take some profits of the shorts. Naturally, okay, and looking for longs is kind of attractive. It's kind of attractive already because there are some scenarios that could develop, right? Someone said take a look at Ethereum. I'll go through comment section right away, legends, but we need to cover here a few things. What needs to happen for this? We'll go through the 1 hour time frame. Going lower is going to be a little bit difficult. On the 15-minute, it would be nice with the information that we have that if this is an A wave and this is a B wave, we have this move that we had yesterday that is actually a little smaller from the move that we had between Wednesday and Friday. When we do take a look at the fib extension here, this movement, the latest one that we had on Saturday, is actually smaller, which is not something that you like very, very much when you consider that we are forming a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. However, as long as the fifth wave is shorter than this wave over here, we can consider that we've had an extension 1 wave, right? Not the best scenario, but still, as long as your third wave is not the smallest, it is acceptable. And I'm actually considering this that it could be the case where from this 5-wave move down, potential 5-wave move down, that your wave 1 is the largest wave, right? It's going to be challenging eventually to look for these longs because, naturally we could still be very much in the 3rd wave formation. If we were to break down here with lots of volume and start breaking the levels and we got a major dump, naturally we would say that it's going to go to lower prices. You got increasing volume, all of this wave 3 is not even halfway through, right? It's going to be so interesting to see how Monday starts off. It's going to be very, very interesting how we start off Monday, because double bottom here for me is an option. Double bottom or hitting that higher low, which is at 74.4k, right, from April of 2025. I really would consider already that area as a swing failure pattern for a higher time frame swing, because that bounce is very much possible, and I think it is likely. I think it is very, very likely at this stage, because the big move, volume breakdown, test below 80k has already happened. The bearish move already happened, and we're getting these volatile moves down, and this is likely going to slow down. It's just very, very likely. We're already getting these bounces Sunday. It's Monday that's going to be important here, to understand the reversal point. But if between today and tomorrow we test the lows, I think it's a valid, if anybody's in front of the chart, it's a valid double bottom swing failure pattern. I think it's a very valid one at this stage, with the highest amount of volume being here yesterday. If it breaks down from the previous low, I would really consider that 74k as a good swing long. Okay, it's just the higher time frame, major pivot higher low, and major pivot higher lows on the higher time frame. They just work very, very well, and on the lower time frame it looks so good based on the waves that this is likely a local bottom formation area to bounce in the next 1 to 2 weeks. Okay, it just looks very, very good. I'm not interested in swing shorts down here, guys. We've been talking about the swing shorts for over 2 weeks right now. It's a moment to start looking for longs. I'm sorry. So we want to be careful, naturally, and there will be ways of detecting if the bounce is going to be bearish or bullish. But come on, how this sweeping up those lows at 74k from April of 2025, this is it is true that this zone is also the average buying price of Michael Saylor from MicroStrategy. I think it's a panic moment zone, and panic moment areas are very, very good opportunities for some local bounces, right? I'm not saying that this is going to go to all-time high. It's just looking for a nice bounce in the next coming weeks. Good potential for that to happen. So the way we want to see to be confident in this bounce, after testing the lows here, might test out that higher low at 74k zone from April. We need a pretty solid impulse that might happen on Monday, it might happen on Tuesday, might happen on Wednesday. There will be time, and there will be a way of detecting that swing long. As mentioned, I'm not in a long as of yet, but I'm very, very interested. I would already consider longing a small position, just like the one here at 97k, stop loss at 70k, okay, below $70,000. Basically the 1.61 extension as explained from that B wave. Okay, 1.6. I don't want the price to break down very aggressively from here, but I think this is already an acceptable stop loss, and it's going to be a small position, but I want to build up that position just like building up the swing short position from 97k, right? You need it, throughout the beginning of the week. as we got that breakdown from 88.7, I just understood that this is gonna crumble down in a matter of a few days already, and it was faster than I expected. But still, you know, being a few days off of breaking down, the directional bias was to break down below 80k. But you need to understand when to add safely to that position, and that's something very similar that I want to have here, because it doesn't matter. There was somebody saying it's just breaking down. It's just breaking down. When do we realize that we're getting a bounce or a corrective structure? And we had it. You know, this was looking for corrections, ABC flat, a triangle, running flat. You know, it's a matter of days that we are going to break down here when this finishes. So with that said, there's going to be that bounce. If it is going to be the ABC flat here, right? If it is going to be this pattern, that it will be detectable, just like this movement as an impulse was detectable, and this range that we formed at the beginning of the week was detectable as a correction. We were only talking about corrective structures here. All of the scenarios were pointing out to move down, right? Is it a flat? Is it a triangle? Is it whatever? You know, they're all corrective. You know, it's all about knowing, do we extend another day or not? So, you know, if you are feeling aggressive and you have your directional bias that is to the downside to take out $80,000, you know, it all depends on the strategy and how aggressive you are, basically, right? So, you know, what I'm trying to explain here is that, yeah, we can test the lows, test the higher low of April at 74k, and I do expect here the price to, you know, be wicky and start slowing down in the next couple of days. Now, I'm going to be interested in getting into a small position, still holding the short, double bottom, or either take the April highs and get the reaction, start trading above it. Already will consider getting into that swing long position. The moment that we can identify a strong impulsive move to the upside in the next coming days, and we get that change locally of bullish market structure on the 30-minute, right? 1 hour, 30-minute time frame. This is the moment that we, you know, either look for new long positions. I didn't get into a new short here. I was interested in a new short position, but I was really down focused on taking out net $91,000 for a new short. I had to add to my existing short, realizing that this is corrective already, like confirmation after losing 88.7. But to get into a new one, I really wanted that SFP from 91. It didn't end up happening, but just for a new position, basically. So in this case, you know, I would want to see new positions, but just by this price action that could develop in the coming days, we suddenly get a rally, you know, get to 80k zone, right? 81k maybe. Just get an impulsive move throughout the next coming days. You know, I would be looking to be positioned already with a local double bottom, or maybe test 74k April higher low. Already want to be in a smaller position and have this price action to add to the position that I have already in, realizing that what could happen next is get a third wave move up, right? 4 and 5, right? Get an impulse to finish the C wave, right, of a flat structure that has been developing, right, throughout since November of 2025. There will be, we will identify this, okay? Just like we identified, you know, I think a lot of people identified this anyway. A lot of people were bearish, you know, just because of a bear flag, literally here. But we understood that it's a matter of days. It's a matter of days that we get that third wave breakdown. It's all about this. How long is it going to extend, this correction from last week, from this week, basically, beginning of the week? How long do we extend here? It's a matter of days. I think we are days away from testing 80k. And it's we can identify this. I'll be doing on the live. The trading community will be obviously notified if I'm not in a live stream eventually. for these trading opportunities. But it will be identifiable, okay? We will manage to identify if we have a good chance in getting the third wave, because this is the most important wave. Once this wave is done, that's it. You know, the shorts are not relevant for swings. You can get into little scalps here eventually to test the lows. That this is another type of trading that I'm explaining here on the live stream, just so people can be ready, right, for the next coming days. We can identify this. This is the most important wave that you want to be in. The third one, the third wave, regardless if it's a C wave or a third wave, is the most important wave that you want to be in. Already from higher. I mean, if you're catching the wave A in this case, or the wave 1, catching the Pico top, then you're an absolute legend. But if not, you need to catch basically the wave 2 or the wave B, right? The correction. So if you're not catching the low here, which is dangerous, you need to have a strategy. In my case, I like local double bottoms at this point, because I understand with the high volume breakdown that we had yesterday, the bounce on Sunday, if we test the lows and get a reaction, I can enter, put a tiny stop loss beneath the low if I'm entering into that scalp, or wait for the April higher lows if we break down the recent lows that we had yesterday at 75.6k. I've got two levels here mainly that I would be interested for that kind of liquidity grab. SFP, double bottom, or test the higher lows from April. I'm going to keep it simple for my long position here that I want to enter. People that don't enter the bottom, are going to have to wait for that impulsive move up to speculate on that higher time frame ABC flat. If people did not enter shorts at 97k area, they had to enter at the 88, 90k zone, right? Yeah, you can rush into shorts here, but you're not catching the solid move based on having a plan, a strategy, understanding that this is corrective. So this is what we need to see basically. You either try and catch the low safely with risk management, you form a local double bottom, you test the April higher low at 74.4k, you just wait for it basically. If you don't react at that level and you're breaking beneath it, then I haven't got anything. I would say that we would be coming down to this zone, which is, we got a point of control all the way here at 67.5k. I strongly believe that this is going to provide a lot of support. The highs here from Q1 to Q3 of 2024, very big range here. The top where we have the highest amount of volume, right? It's just a resistance support flip basically, is likely going to provide support. $67,000 to $68,000. Got big range here. That is likely going to get a significant bounce if we were to break down the April lows. And I'm not expecting a major waterfall here to happen in the next 1 to 2 weeks to get down to 50k, right? It's an unlikely scenario. Unlikely doesn't mean it's impossible, but I'm not expecting this. And where I want to get into these trades is April higher low. Just wait for that level to be tested, unless I'm awake and I get into this local double bottom, right? Because a wave 4 does make sense here on the lower time frame. Let me just clear this absolute mess that I have on the chart. I like freestyling and drawing on the chart. You probably realized at this stage. Yeah, I mean, I like the idea that this could be a wave 4. We're looking to test the lows and even the April higher low. That's where I'm going to start getting into my long. Boom, reaction here at the low. And this is scalp long. You get the bounce. Entry and stop loss. If you break the low from Saturday, then I'm looking at April higher low at 74.4k. So they're going to be my only levels. If you break them, I'm not entering. If we really get a massive drop here for Monday, you know, I would be like aggressive to like really catch a possible long. If we break the April lows like aggressively and we get one of those deadly candles or another move down of $4,000 or $5,000, you know, opening on Monday, I mean, look no further. This is, you know, this point of control is going to be a very, very good level to check the reaction. 67.5k basically. I don't think it's going to get down there, but this is a zone to manage risk. If you don't SFP from this low, you know, there's no long to be taken. Price action starts trading beneath that level, you know, you need to be out of the position, right? You lost the level. If you wick it and you get back above, that's when you can attempt the long. So it's going to be very, very interesting for that possible bounce. Okay, that possible bounce in a C wave. I'm really not saying that this is the pattern that is going to happen, but it will be very, you know, identifiable, okay, in the next coming days if we get that solid impulse. And we will manage to identify an impulse, just as we identified an impulse here. And what we're looking next is a correction to then roll over to take out 80k with high probability. So in that case, an impulse here and the correction, we could be looking for a significant short squeeze third wave on the development here for the next coming weeks, which we want to participate. We want to be in that wave. But you need the first confirmation leg, which is the first wave one eventually in that impulse. Okay. Catching the lows for the swing, right? It's like catching the highs here, even though this was an absolute beauty. You know, when you consider the anchored VWAP from all-time high, I mean, this is like magical, right? Anchored VWAP from all-time high, perfect fake out of the anchored VWAP to trigger that short. I mean, you can catch, it's just like an SFP from the higher low of April. At this stage, it's very acceptable because we already got a significant move down in the last few days. And we do have the bullish case locally, which is an ABC flat, right? Which would be looking at this. It's very, you know, if you want to catch the low, look no further. It's a major swing failure pattern level, higher low here. We don't have an anchored VWAP at that level. We might. Let me just double check here with anchored VWAP from these major pivot higher lows. There's an anchored VWAP from the higher low here. From this range. From 2023. We got a reaction here. I have to say, it's not bad. There's also an anchored VWAP here. An anchored VWAP should be taken from major pivots on the higher time frame. Either this one, this one, this one, or this one. Not this one at this stage eventually, because anchored VWAP is going to be all the way up here. So there we got a major anchored VWAP from a higher low, which is sitting beneath the April lows. Just to give a bit of more confluence. Yeah, not a bad zone, this 74k region. So that's the thing about trying to catch the low. You need a higher time frame confluent zone, and you know, eventually you either get in on the reaction or you wait for the first move to the upside, right? Taking out the low, you wait for this movement to then literally get into the third wave. This is the wave you want to get into. So it's going to be interesting. The next few days is going to be very, very interesting how we open Monday. We'll have a lot of information. Let's go through the lower time frame and understand a little bit here. What is the situation when we consider the movements to the downside, right? It is nice to speculate on that ABC. It is very, very nice. You know, slow down here, be a little bit wicky beneath 76, 74K. I mean, the best scenario would be take out the low, correction, take out the low again, right? Kind of slowing down in this region in the next couple of days is already going to be really, really interesting to look for the longs, because you know that you're forming a bottom formation at this stage when you've had the most powerful wave already happening here in the last few days, right? This is less powerful than this one. And you're already hitting the 1.236 extension, okay, even the 1382. You realize that this is a zone to already slow down. The biggest move has already happened throughout the last few days, and looking for longs is looking very, very attractive. The overall question here naturally is this an ABC or is it a 1, 2, 3? You get that bounce, but it's a fourth wave, and then, you know, you form a larger impulse here, which at the same time, you know, you're still looking for a bounce. You're not looking for a successful breakdown below $74,000. So that's another thing that I wanted to point out here. If this is not an ABC and we get that massive rally in the coming weeks, right, to form that C wave of the flat, you would be looking for a 5-wave development, which is 1, 2, 3. You might create one more low. You get a larger bounce in the next week or so, and then you take out the low again and you form an impulse. You're still looking for a major reversal here, regardless if it's the ABC flat. Despite taking out the lows again and again, and you hit 74K, we're looking for a relief. We're looking for a slowdown, and we're not looking for an aggressive move to the downside to 60K or 50K, right? That's the reality when we understand the charts. Breaking down right now to $60,000 is low probability at this stage. The biggest move has happened this week already, which was taking out $80,000, and we're really looking for either an ABC big bounce in the coming days, or a 1, 2, 3 coming to its end stages, and the fourth wave is going to be very corrective. It's going to take a few days, and we'll just have to understand that we're probably going to take out the lows again. That's where the long becomes very attractive, because regardless if you're forming an impulse, you're likely going to get a larger bounce, a larger range, maybe a very big bounce, because you do have the possibility, let's get all of this out of the chart, that if this is your higher time frame impulse, we're going to consider it. I don't like it. Wave 4 is really long, but we're going to consider it. You got a 5-wave move to the downside, and your biggest movement was this one that happened throughout October and November, right? That's your largest move down with the high volume that we have. And now here, if this is going to be the correct count, even though I'm not a fan based on the wave 4, very, very long compared to wave 2 and rest of it. But I have to say, wave 4 did not overlap wave 1, so it's not an invalidation. There's no invalidation for this, even though timing and rest of it is not great. What we would be looking in the case of an impulse down, and this is just to get the noise of the 15-minute time frame and the 30-minute time, the 1-hour chart, just to get the noise out of the way and go through the little mini waves on the lower time frame. You literally have the wave 1, the wave 2 throughout this week. The biggest move happening here with increasing volume yesterday. You are looking for this to come to an end stage very, very soon, regardless if you hit 74K or not. It doesn't really matter. You are looking for this wave that's the most powerful compared to the one last week to come to the end, to its end stages. And yes, if you get that very corrective bounce, right, in that wave 4, then you're looking for the fifth wave to test literally beneath the recent lows of your third wave, not a major breakdown, and then naturally look for that bigger bounce. And what is interesting about this, if it is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's not the ABC flat, right? We form a corrective bounce in the next coming days, then we'll realize, guys, we're likely going to test the lows, regardless if it's 76 or, you know, if we test the lows again tonight. What is very interesting about this scenario is that if you have a large 5-wave move to the upside, you have a very, very good chance that you could form a larger bounce in the next coming months to take out $98,000, because it is common to get above the fourth wave. It's just common to get up there in a correction. And, you know, the best example that I could give you based on that case is zooming in here on this price action, where you have your wave 1, your wave 2, your wave 3, your wave 4 and 5, right? Drawing didn't work out very well here. Once you finish your fifth wave, taking out the low of the third wave, not breaking down a lot, you know, it's very, very common to get above the fourth wave here. So it's a swing trade as well. It would be a swing trade. Looking for swing longs at this point is attractive. It is very, very attractive. There's no doubt about it, because when we fit in higher time frame scenarios, well, if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and on the lower time frame you have 1, 2, 3, you know, you're looking for a correction 4th, 5th, SFP from that April higher low, you know, larger bounce in the next coming weeks. Of course, this has the danger of being a wave A, B, and C, right? On, you know, literally on the higher time frame. You know, this doesn't mean that the bear market is over. If you get a major bounce to 98k, this could still be a wave A, a wave B, and you break down, you know, throughout the summer and to the end of the year, and just you know, that's it. But it means that a bounce here is very much possible and highly likely, in my opinion, if this would be the correct count, of course. Finishing a 5-wave move down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, bounce. 1, 2, 3. Possible you have an ABC here. Possible you have an ABC here. You get that boom, 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 boom. You form an ABC flat just to form an X wave. You got your wave W, your X. Maybe then you break down in a zigzag, go down to 60, 50k. But it means that not getting continuation down, like in the next 1 to 2 weeks we go down to 50k. You know, it's unfortunately it doesn't work like that. I wish, because I would just be more than happy to hold the shorts and make quick profits, right? To get down to 50k. But the probabilities based on timing, on waves, are low to get an immediate move down to 60, 50k in the next, you know, week or two. It's just low probability at this stage, understanding the waves and the movements and the volume. You know, it's we're unlikely going to go down to 60, 50k in 1-2 weeks. Maybe in a few months, but not shortly. The liquidity is looking extremely interesting at the 90k, above 90k region. The liquidity being built up is really, really hot at this stage. So it's going to be so interesting to see the price action in the coming days. We get that slowdown here. As I mentioned, I'm already interested here in double bottoms. If it moves down to the April higher low, bring it on, baby. I am looking for longs. Shorts were last week. Now it's time for longs. I'm sorry. So looking for the slowdown in this region. This could be a wave 3 still. And the bounce could be a little bit confusing. You want to be very, very careful on longing the moves up, FOMOing in here, because it could be a wave 4, right? And you got that impulsive move finishing for the higher time frame scenario, which is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Maybe 4th and 5th wave is going to be developed in the coming days, and we do get that movement down. So you want to be cautious in longing if the price gets to 80k, right? And it gets suddenly a bounce in between today and tomorrow, right? And you feel a little bit FOMO-y. I would not long the bounces here. I'm either going to catch the low on the double bottom or the April higher low, or I'm going to wait in the coming days for that impulsive move and the corrective structure that I can identify in the coming days to then look for the next move up. Okay, we'll be following this up naturally. I'm not interested in any major shorts here, I have to say. Maybe looking at the 30-minute, 15-minute time frame. Let's go down to the 5-minute time frame. It is a bit of a range. I mean, the nice thing about these little ranges that we form, especially on the weekend, is that you have, I mean, we can see it already here on the 15-minute time frame. You got that lower high and the higher lows. This is the range. Long the lows of the range. You got the next low eventually being the low of yesterday. But look at this, you got a beautiful test on the bounce early this morning to that order block on the 15-minute. After the major drop that we got yesterday, big volume move. Nice, formed a little range. These are good for SFPs. We always talk about them. Big move down, little bounce, and then continuation down. This is an awesome SFP. They're very, very good to trade. And just recently, in the last couple of hours, this consolidation that we had after the bounce is what's holding our support. So, I mean, yeah, for little scalps, short, long, when you get the reaction, if you lose that level, you no longer want to be in a trade. You wait for the next low to be hit to look for the double bottom, right? Would I consider... Let's analyze the waves of this movement here right now. Is it bullish? Do we have a bullish move to the upside? We got the bounce here with the high, the low. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, unfortunately we don't have anything bullish here. Yeah, this is highly likely a corrective bounce. This movement here, 1, 2, you got 1, 2, 1, 2 overlap. You got a nice push up here, 4 and 5, but you need, you haven't got another large 4 and 5. We would have created a little bit more of a range and another high here. We could have considered an impulse. But yeah, unfortunately this bounce, even though looking at the Fibonacci time from the low to the high, we still got time. Not seeing this as an impulsive mover. It does look 3 wavy. The only gap that you have for a third wave is this one. It cannot be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, because you have this. Yeah, it does look corrective. So it looks like that the lows could be tested again. Yeah, I am favoring here with this bounce naturally that the lows are likely going to be tested, and I'm looking for at this stage either a double bottom or testing the April higher lows. yeah, yeah, there's higher probability at this stage that the lows are going to be tested. This bounce does not look promising as an impulse, and we are heavily downtrending still. So yeah, for any new longs, well, shorts, best short would have been early this morning. That lower high on the 15-minute of the range, kind of a little order block right there. That would have been the best entry with the fair value gap. You literally got that 15-minute fair value gap. That would have been the best option. These should be considered as scalps when I literally take a look at this. This is likely a corrective bounce. Okay, so any longs taken here would likely be getting stopped out at break even here. I would be protecting very aggressively for the longs. It's not very not extremely great for longs, I have to say, realizing that this bounce is likely corrective in the heavy downtrend that we've got. I am favoring testing the lows here locally. I am favoring testing the lows again. The longs that we talk about are swing longs, okay? Either testing the double bottom or the April higher lows, or a ABC and an ABC here for then a 5-wave move up in the next 1 to 2 weeks, or either forming a 1, 2, 3 correction, fourth it actually tests 74, 73k maybe, and then gets the bounce. They are mainly a bounce for the next coming 1 to 2 weeks. It's not like a bounce now, right? It's like slowing down, testing the lows, has higher probability to start ranging and slowing down. The breakdowns, I don't expect a move down here, okay, as the one that we've had this week. I'm not expecting a big move, but you want to be careful still eventually, right? You want to be careful. So my guidelines at this moment, you always need a guideline, and the guideline is for a strategy. The double bottom, I like it. My guideline is you get the price action trading. If I'm in front of the chart, of course, because this is lower time frame, I might be sleeping. But if you do test the lows, if it gives you that entry trigger and protect position, manage risk, this is the level that I would want to enter. And if it breaks down that level, then the next one would be the April higher low. And that's the guideline. Any price action traded beneath that level, I'm not longing unless it gets a major move down to 67k, which is the point of control of this range. That's the big next major level for a bounce. For new shorts here, very locally, yeah, I'm not. Let's count this movement to the downside. ABC 1, 2. Yeah, this would have to be a, even though it's zigzag down. Yeah, doesn't look that bearish. This could be an ABC flat. 1, 2, 1, 2, and it just breaks in a third, and then 4, 5, or 4 and 5. Yeah, this is very low time frame, very volatile, very choppy, lots of overlap. It is Sunday as well. Monday's going to be very interesting. Tomorrow's price action is going to be extremely interesting, unless the only short that looked attractive for me would have been this one over here. If the price does squeeze out from this level, I would personally not want I wouldn't be that interested, if I'm honest, if we in a short position, if we take out this to speculate in a third wave. and then roll over. I would prefer, I wouldn't short here again, me personally, because this is getting a little bit too long right now compared to the move down. I wouldn't label it as an internal wave 4. This could still be a wave 4, and then your wave 5 comes in here. Got a few 1 2s, 3 4 5s, and another 4 and 5. The last 4 5, just to make it the big one, would be what makes more sense. If you take out that high, this is going to be a little bit too long. Preferably we do not take out the high and we take out the lows here, and then the double bottoms are going to be the name of the game. And local shorts only would have been this one. If we take out the highs, I wouldn't be interested myself in a short. I think we would fill the CME, the fair value gap, and get a major move up. Yeah, for me, the only interesting trades at the moment that look interesting is double bottom or the April higher low. No shorts down here in the middle. Only short would have been nice of that lower high fair value gap on the 15-minute early this morning. That would have been the best one. So yes, if you have been shorting, make sure to collect some profits. It does look like that a relief bounce and slowing down this downside momentum is very, very likely, in my opinion. When you understand that the third wave has already happened, right? The biggest wave has already happened, and you have the potential of a flat here. You know, if you've been shorting here or shorting the 90k region this week, it does make a lot of sense to collect significant profits, and I have done so in the last 24 hours already. You know, it's just enough. We've got the big move down already. Whoever's been shorting, congratulations. I am very interested in longing, but I'm very, very cautious. I'm patient. At this point, I would only want to... I mean, we've hit major levels. I mean, unless you catch the daily. There was a daily level that has been touched. This is from the higher lows of April. There's a daily level right there. They got a nice reaction today. Nice little bounce of $1,000 or so. Slightly more, almost $2,000. Unless you're, you know, watching that daily for the reaction. I would, you know, for me, I didn't catch it. I'm going to remain patient for either double bottom, test the April low, or get, you know, if we manage to do this, then I have to say, damn, I missed the, you know, missed the lows. Not a higher low that I would want along, because the movement to the upside is high probability corrective. It looks corrective. Can't fit a solid impulse here with the bounce that we had you know, yesterday. Literally, it does not look good. Also, these higher lows have been tested, and if you're looking at a wave 1, wave 2, wave 1, another wave 2 is not possible. You've taken out the low. ABC flat does not work. ABC, this is extremely long. Yeah, it just doesn't look impulsive, unfortunately. I don't see this as an impulsive move, and this a correction to form a higher low and like break through here. It is the weekend. It's not the greatest bounce. If you want to be a bottom catcher, maintain risk. I do think that the lows are going to be tested again, but double bottoms are looking interesting at this point. So I'm either looking at double bottom, April higher low reaction, or I would have to remain patient to actually confirm an impulse here, and then this price action in the coming days will have to be the region that I would be looking for longs. I wouldn't catch 77k, but I'll only catch 79k, and we do have the potential of that flat structure, right, that moves up here in that 5-wave move to the upside, right, to form that ABC flat. So yeah, there'll be time for high probability trades. For me, it's taking out the low, April higher low. I'm not interested in shorts. We should be taking profits from the short already. Shorts are not looking interesting, and unless we form a corrective bounce here in the next couple of days that we can label as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. If that is the case, you don't want the price action to get above the golden pocket, which is sitting at 84.4k, 84.7, sorry. That's the golden pocket invalidation for your wave 4. But there's gonna, if we are gonna form a wave 4 here, it's gonna take a few days. It is gonna take a few days because that's your wave 2. Wave 4s are usually longer and complex, lots of overlap. Once we get that overlap, it could be a good short position to take out the lows if that is the case. Legends, if you have been shorting, we've got the big move. It's time to take profits from the short. I'm interested in a long reversal. Double bottom, April higher low. Whoever's been shorting, absolutely wonderful. Longs are becoming interesting. I've explained where I want a long. Double bottom, April higher lows. I would be already happy to get into a long if we get a major bounce here and it looks impulsive. Looking for longs later on in the next few days would be an option. Unless the bounce is corrective, we'll look for another internal short to take out the lows. Legends, if you are interested in trading, make sure to check out the exchanges down below. You do have Bluffin, BTCC. Bluffin right now has VIP1 on sign up. Okay, as soon as you sign up, you do get the access for 30 days of VIP1. Okay, lowering your fees, $1,000 deposit bonus. If you deposit 10k, you're getting $1,000 on top of that for your trading, for your losses or for your fees, and up to 9,400. The more you trade, the more volume that you move, the more airdrops you're going to get, up to 9.4k, guys. Also, BTC has a great bonus down below. You got Velto, which is the decentralized option as well, and it just connects directly to your wallet, okay? And they have very, very low fees on Velto, guys. Legends, consider shorting everything to zero. At this point, yes, right? The fear is real. We have no hope. I've actually bought some Bitcoin, guys, some spot Bitcoin. I'm following my long-term strategy. I did say that if, once we start getting below $80,000, even though that I do see going down to $60,000 and even $50,000 in the next coming months, I've only bought 5% worth of cash here of Bitcoin. So it's a DCAing strategy, right? I thought below 80k it's looking attractive. I would love to see Bitcoin at $50,000, if I'm honest, in the next coming months, because I would actually go pretty damn aggressive. I would start being, I would use 30% of my cash if Bitcoin gets below 50k. So I will leave some cash on the sidelines just in case we do see a larger ABC or, very, very sharp WXY in the next few months. But yeah, DCA, starts making a little bit of sense. It's going to take, we've got many, many months for DCAing, guys. I don't think that we're going to bottom anytime soon. I think the bottom could be on the formation by the end of the year, give or take October. It takes 1 year. 4-year cycle has been pretty accurate. Price action has been very, very similar in the last few months. And I think, it's been taking round about a year to get to the bottom. So October makes sense for the price to bottom out, maybe between $60,000 and $40,000, I would say. Depending on what happens here, local bounces, ABC flats, wave 1, wave A, wave B, wave C, right? A sharp double zigzag where you have your W, X, and now you're in your Y wave. You form another zigzag for the next few months to the downside, pretty sharp, still pretty heavy downtrending. DCAing is the name of the game here, between 80k and 40k in my opinion. Legends, thank you very much for joining, smashing up the like button. Much love. When are you and Devil going to stream together? Very soon, Jerome, very soon. We need to do a back-to-back. We're going to be combining our knowledge, and you know, we need to really start streaming at least once a week here on the channel, doing a back-to-back collaboration, because we can combine ourselves very, very well, looking for trading opportunities, longs and shorts. Hi, good time to start buying the bear. Yeah, I mean, we've already lost 80k. It makes sense to start thinking of at least local reversals. Shorts look completely exhausted. Yeah, shorts, time to collect some profits, okay? If you've been shorting in the last few weeks, or even the beginning of this week, I only managed to add to this position. Unfortunately, I did not get into a new position in the last few days. It didn't quite fit into getting into a new one, so I had to add to the existing short from the last couple of weeks. But overall, happy days. It was high probability to take out $80,000 at some point, considering that this was very, very corrective. The movement down that we had from 98k, it was very impulsive, and we even had the bars pattern from 2022 bear market, which was just proving very accurate. And yeah, we're gonna have to see now what happens in the next coming days. But I think a bottom formation, testing the lows, getting exhausted, and not breaking down successfully to $60,000 right in the next 1 to 2 weeks is very, very likely. So looking for a range, looking for a bounce, and we'll go from there, legends. Much love. Thank you for smashing up the like button. Let's do a quick like recount. Thank you very much for joining the stream today. And we'll go 200 likes, guys. Let's try and get the like button to 250. Man, I need to give the reminder to everybody. CME gap, not a trade. CME gap is not a trade. CME gaps provide support or resistance once they're filled. Most of the times, not always. But yeah, much love, Sammy, to you. Much love to everybody. Congratulations who shorted in the last few weeks. Whoever longed, I hope that you manage risk. If your levels are not getting a reaction, or you don't get a major impulsive move to get into a long in a correction, longs at support, take them with very good risk, guys. If you lose the level, it's your guideline. Remember, supports need to hold. If it is lost, get out of the fucking trade. Excuse my language, but it is true. I just want to protect you guys. Much love. We'll be back tomorrow, Monday, with more, guys. Smash up the like button and subscribe. And you got the links for these awesome platforms. Bluffin, Velto. Bluffin, you got some great perks, okay, down below. Velto, decentralized option. You got a little tutorial. BTCC, Bybit. They're all great exchanges. Thank you, legends. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow.